I'm going to show you exactly how AMT can be taxed at the 35% tax rate. And this is my marker. The cap is off because I'm going to show you exactly what's going on here. So the first number I want you to pay attention to is this number right here, $1,047,200. This is where the phase out begins. And I have drawn this red line kind of showing where that phase out starts. So I've got three different columns here, each represented in a different color. If you're colorblind, my apologies, but these represent three different situations, three different scenarios that we're going to run through. And what I've done is I've underlined the number that I've increased. So you can notice that in these three situations, we have increased it by $100 in each iteration. So before the phase out, we're going to see what happens when $100 of extra income is earned. What is that taxed at? And then if you're in the phase out, what is that taxed at? So first, let's go ahead and start right here when we have got, this is kind of the base situation that we've got, the $1,047,100. Again, this is just the base. And then when we come up $100, when we earn an extra $100 to the $1,047,200, then we'll be able to see down here at the bottom exactly what the tax situation looks like and what it was taxed at. So let's go ahead and jump to first this screen right here. I don't know why this isn't showing. There we go. Got it pulled up. Okay. So this is the AMT tax formula on page or on form 6251. And we are going to kind of skip most of the equation here. I'm just going to highlight part 1I, which is the exercise of incentive stock options. That's the bargain element when it comes to you exercising your ISOs. So that's the main thing that most of my clients have to deal with, is that line right there. But we ultimately add all those lines together. And if you look in line number 4, it says alternative minimum taxable income. So when you see this on my whiteboard, you can see all of these three different numbers. This is where we're starting at. I guess I should title these line 4. So this is the AMTI, or alternative minimum taxable income, for these three different situations. And again, we've just increased it by $100 two different times. Just to show you what happens when you earn $100 before the phase out and after you earn $100 after the phase out, when you're in the phase out. So let's go ahead and jump to line number 5. It says, if your filing status, and let me go ahead and switch this screen here so you can follow along. If your filing status is married filing jointly, I'll stop right there really quick just to say that my assumptions are that like all of the numbers that I'm doing here is going to be based on the assumption that one is married filing jointly. Also take into consideration that these are old tax numbers. Even this tax form that we're looking at was last year's tax form. So you're just going to have to look at the tax form and the numbers for your current tax year. So don't copy these numbers number for number because it's not going to be correct. So number 5 says, if you're married filing jointly and line 4 is not over that number right here, $1,047,200, then on line 5, you're going to put $114,600. So let's go ahead and jump over to the whiteboard and do just that. $114,600. Oh, there we go. 600. $114,600. Okay. So there we have it. Thus far, we've done line 5 for the first two. You'll notice right here it says, if line 4 is over the amount shown above for your filing status, see instructions. So we're going to jump to the instructions in just a second, but first we're going to start with these first two items of business. Actually, let's not do that. I'm actually going to stick with this. We're going to jump to the worksheet and see what happens. Okay, so I've got the screen pulled up. Here are the instructions for Form 6251. You scroll down, and we're going to go to Part 2. There it is. I've got it highlighted. Part 2, the alternative minimum tax, and line 5, exemption amount, which says, see the exemption worksheet to figure out the amount to enter on line 5. So we're now going to calculate line 5 for this right here, but we have to go through this worksheet. So let's go ahead and focus on this worksheet. It's right here. Number 1, it says enter 114,600 if married filing jointly. So I'm actually just gonna, I'm not gonna write that down yet. Actually, I guess I could. I'll go ahead and write it down. There we go. 114,600. That's the same number that we were using over here, but there's more calculations to look into. Line number 2, enter your AMT. Enter your AMT income AMTI from Form 6251. So as we see here, we've got this $1,047,300. I'll just write it down. $1,047,300. Kind of hard to see, but you get the idea. Let's see here. Okay, we're now on line 3, which says enter 1,047,200 if married filing jointly. So we are now going to do this right here. We're going to enter, write down 1,047,200 if married filing jointly. And then we come back to this. Sorry, we're jumping all over the place. Line 4 says subtract line 3 from line 2. That's what we're going to do. We're going to subtract line 3 from line 2. And what we get there is a $100 difference. So now we've got $100, and then we jump back to, let's see here, line number 5. It says multiply line number 4 by 25%, and 25% of $100 is going to be $25. Then it says subtract line 5 from line 1. So we're going to take line 5, which is this $25, and we're going to subtract it from, let's see here, it says line, well, let's see here, screen share, there we go. Subtract from line 1. Okay, so we are going to put this right here. Let me just pull up the calculator. Don't want to be doing math and mess it up. So 114,600 minus $25 equals this number, 114,575 is the number that I've just put down. So if you're following along, we have now put this right here. So it also tells us, so we're going to subtract this, also enter the amount on Form 6251, line 1. So now we are back. We have finished the worksheet, and we've gotten the number that we needed from the worksheet. Now we are going to put it back on this line right here, like it tells us to. Line 5. Okay. So that is on line 5, just like they asked. Line 5 is figured out. Line 5, line 5. You'll notice that line 5 is the exact same for these first two, but it's actually different here, and that's again because of the worksheet, because our AMTI right here was higher than the phase out amount. Okay, we're now on line 6. This is good. We're making good progress. So line 6 says subtract, let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay, line 6 says subtract line 5 from line 4. So we're going to take line 5 and, oops, line 5 subtracted by line 4. So let me go ahead and share my calculator here really quick. So the first one, if you look at the whiteboard, we're going to do this first column here. We're going to take 1,047,100 minus the 114,600 right here. Okay. 100. There we go, minus 114,600. Okay, we've now got that number. We're going to punch it in here. This is 932,500. Okay, now jumping to the second column. Now we're going to take 1.4 million minus this number right here. So let's clear this number and say 1,047,200. Again, we've just increased that number by a $100 increment, but we're going to minus it from 114,600. Now we've got this number figured out. The whiteboard, and we're going to put 932,600. And you'll already notice that we've still got a $100 difference between these two. Okay? So there's still a $100 difference. Now let's move on to this last one. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take 1,047,300 minus this number. So let's go ahead and pull up the calculator again. 1,047,300 minus 114,575 equals, and then let's write that last number down. 32,725. Okay. Now I'm going to start just from this side and work our way back across this, and we'll kind of see how things unravel. Back to the formula here. We are now on line 7. So line 7, these first 2 bullet points we're going to assume aren't applicable. Now we're on the last bullet point here that reads, if line 6 is, it basically says if it's less than roughly $200,000, then tax it at the 26% tax rate. And believe me, if your AMTI is up here, you are long past the 26% tax rate when it comes to AMT. So let's go ahead and follow the rest of the instructions. So we're going to multiply line 6 by 28% and then subtract $3,998. So we've got this number here, and we are now going to hit times 0.28, so that's 28%, equals that number minus 3,998. I don't actually know where that number comes from, the 3,998, but it's in the tax code right there. You see it. So we've got our final number here, at least for this first column, which is 257,165. Excuse me, breathing too much marker here. Okay, then let's go to the next one, which is going to be this number right here. So let me go ahead and type this in. 932,600. Again, if you just look at the equation, it says times it by 0.28 equals, then you're going to minus $3,998. Now we've got our second number in this middle column here. 257,130. Okay. Now, one more time. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and clear the calculator. 932,500. Again, I'm just pulling that number right from here, from line 6, just like it says in the instructions over here. Got this number, and I'm going to times it by 0.28 equals minus the 3,998, and you get 250, oh man, my marker's not showing that well, 257,102. So we've got all of our numbers figured out. I'll just read this again because it's kind of hard to see. 257,102. So this is the kicker. This is the whole purpose of this video, is to show you this right here. We want to look at the difference between these numbers. So we, from here to here, we increased our income by $100. But how much tax did we pay on that? So we want to look at the difference between these two numbers, which happens to be $28. So if you earn $100 and you pay $28 in taxes, that means that it was taxed at 28%. So oddly enough, you earn $100, and because we haven't hit the phase out yet, it's still being taxed at $28. So last thing right here, we're going to take this number, 257,130, and the difference between that and the 257,165, this is the kicker, guys. The difference between that is, hit the subscribe button, please. I've been putting in a lot of work for you here. Okay, just kidding. But for real, the difference between 165 and 130 is $35. Again, all we did was we increased income by $100 and we paid $35 in taxes. So there you have it. We have looked exactly at the phase out line. We've earned $100 before the phase out line. We've also earned $100 after the phase out line. Please remember that this is not supposed to be advice of any kind. Please work with your professional. I'm not your professional. That being said, Thank you so much for watching. I have this recommended video for you about AMT right here. I've just put it on the shelf for you. So hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, we'll see you guys.